When we travel abroad, everything we see and hear feels new and refreshing. Famous landmarks, local dishes we try for the first time, and luxurious hotels often appear in guidebooks and on social media. These are eye-catching and easy to understand, helping to shape our image of a country. But at the same time, there are other things that are just as new to us, yet go unnoticed because they're so ordinary to the locals. One of these may be nature. The nature I mean here isn't the kind found at famous beaches or mountains crowded with tourists. It's the small, everyday kind that blends into people's lives. Because it's so natural and ever-present, it rarely stands out when we talk about a country. And yet, because we constantly experience it through our senses, it quietly leaves a deep and lasting impression in our minds. India, especially, is full of this kind of everyday nature. The deep green of trees, the animals such as dogs and cats we occasionally come across, and the birdsong we hear in the streets, all of these form part of daily life. During my time living in India, these background characters surrounded me every day. Their sights and sounds still sleep in the back of my mind, and when they are awakened by a small trigger, I feel a strong sense of longing for India. This video introduces some of the quiet, everyday nature you can find in Indian cities. India's cities take many forms: busy main roads, lively shopping streets, and more. But when you step away from the noise into a residential neighborhood or the grounds of a large facility, it's hard not to be struck by the richness of the greenery. There are usually so many kinds of plants that you can't possibly pay attention to each one or remember all their names. Thus, I'll introduce just several plants that, at least in my personal view, feel typically Indian. Gulmohar. This tree has a distinctive shape, with long fern-like leaves arranged perpendicularly along its branches. When seen together, these leaves almost look like a single large leaf. Because it provides good shade and is likely less affected by wind than a single large leaf would be, it's often used as a street tree, especially in residential areas. Its ancient, almost prehistoric appearance may seem fresh and unusual to people from temperate climates. The gulmohar also stands out for its bright red flowers and large pea-pod-like fruit. At times you can see these pods scattered on the roadside, a familiar sight for anyone who has spent a significant amount of time in India. There are several Indian movies, songs, and books named after this tree, which may show how deeply it resides in Indian people's hearts. Coconut palm. I don't recall seeing many coconut palms in northern India, but they are commonly found in the south. Even in a city in western India where I lived for a long time, coconut palms grew within residential compounds. From time to time, they would drop their leaves with a loud crash. The sound was surprisingly intense, and I remember being startled the first time I heard it, a memory that now feels nostalgic. Coconuts themselves can sometimes be dangerous. They are heavy and hard, and because they grow high up, falling coconuts can cause serious injuries. Yet this danger is minor compared to the great benefits they offer. Coconuts are used in many ways in Indian society. The refreshing coconut water helps beat the heat, the flesh is eaten, the milk adds superb flavor to curries, and the oil is used for hair care. The dried fruit also plays an important role in Hindu rituals. Coconut palms are especially widespread in Kerala, in the southwest. It's not something from daily life, but I'll never forget the view from the airplane just before landing at Kochi Airport. An endless sea of coconut palms spreading out beneath me. It left a deep impression. Water lily and lotus. You don't usually encounter them in the middle of the city, but in large parks or garden areas of public facilities, ponds are often present, and that's where you frequently see them. With their colorful blossoms gently opening on the water's surface, they create a truly elegant scene, perfect for resting your mind and body, away from the intense heat and noise of urban India. Though water lilies and lotuses are both aquatic plants and look quite similar, They are different species and can be distinguished by the shape of their leaves and the position of their flowers. Water lily leaves float on the surface and have a notch, while lotus leaves rise above the water and are whole without any cut. Likewise, water lily flowers bloom at the surface, whereas lotus flowers bloom above it. As the national flower of India, the lotus likely holds special meaning for Indian people, and the same can be said for other Asian countries within the Buddhist cultural sphere. In Sanskrit, the lotus is known by several names including Padma, Kamala, and Pankaja. Of these, Pankaja literally means born from the mud. The image of a beautiful flower emerging from muddy waters serves as a metaphor for enlightenment rising above worldly desires. This symbolism is why the lotus is especially revered in Buddhism and why its motif has spread throughout Buddhist cultures across Asia. Amalthus. Amalthus is a vividly colorful plant like the gulmohar, but its shape is entirely different. The way its clusters of yellow flowers hang down from the branches resembles wisteria, giving even me, a Japanese person, a sense of familiarity, as wisteria is deeply appreciated in my country. In fact, Amalthus belongs to the same family as wisteria, the legume family. As its common name, golden shower tree, suggests, the sight of its blossoms swaying in the wind under India's intense sunlight truly resembles a shower of light. Amalthus produces long, hard, distinctive pods. The pulp inside is valued in Ayurveda, India's traditional system of medicine, for aiding digestion, gently cleansing the bowels, and reducing inflammation. Modern studies also suggest antioxidant and antimicrobial effects. Banyan tree. Lastly, when it comes to iconic and familiar Indian plants, the banyan tree certainly stands out. Its most distinctive feature is the aerial roots that hang down from its sprawling branches. True to their name, these roots grow in mid-air, absorbing moisture from the atmosphere as they stretch downward. Once they reach the ground, they take root in the soil, absorbing nutrients and thickening to become supportive trunks. As the branches continue to spread, the tree expands endlessly throughout its lifetime. There are several banyan trees said to be the largest in India or in the world, such as Thimama Marimanu in Anantapuram, Andhra Pradesh, and the Great Banyan in Kolkata, West Bengal. In 2023, I got the chance to see one of the biggest banyan trees on the premises of the Theosophical Society in Adyar, Chennai, the one you're seeing now.
立派な番屋ですね、これは。すごい。
The banyan tree has existed on the Indian subcontinent since ancient times and often appears in both Vedic and Buddhist scriptures as a symbol of life. One of the most well-known references is found in the Chandogya Upanishad, an important text within Vedic literature. In this passage, a Brahmin named Udalaka Aruni uses the banyan tree to teach his son, Shvetaketu, about the Atman, the true essence of an individual. The concept of Atman is complex, but for simplicity, at least in this context, we can understand it as that which makes a living being truly alive. The passage begins with the father telling his son to bring him a fruit from the banyan tree. He then tells him to break it open and to split on of the seeds inside. As the son does so, he eventually finds that nothing visible remains. It is then that the father says the following:
My dear, the subtle essence you cannot perceive. From that subtle essence indeed, this great banyan tree stands firm. Believe me, all things in this world have this subtle essence as their very self. This is the truth. This is the Atman. You are that, Shvetaketu.
The Upanishads are a collection of texts composed over a long period of time, beginning around 800 to 700 BCE. Among them, the Chandogya Upanishad belongs to the earliest layer. As ancient works, they naturally contain ideas that may seem scientifically naive from a modern perspective. However, Udalaka's conviction that something invisible must cause a banyan tree to grow so immensely still resonates with us, perhaps because we sense in it a deep respect for nature and life. The key phrase, "You are that," tattvam asi in Sanskrit, is too profound in meaning to grasp easily, yet precisely for that reason, it leaves a strong and lasting impression. There is something unseen that makes a living being truly alive, and you are that itself. This, it seems, is what he sought to convey, that you are life itself. The statement remains powerful and compelling even in our age of highly advanced science, from biotechnology to artificial intelligence. Encounter with animals. About 30 years ago, people would say that cows roamed freely through the streets of India. But with the country's rapid economic growth over the past few decades, such scenes have naturally begun to disappear, especially in major urban centers, upscale residential areas like Noida and Gurgaon, and business districts such as Hyderabad's high-tech city, lined with modern corporate buildings. Even so, small and unexpected encounters with animals still seem to be part of everyday life in India. You can hear birds filling the air with their varied songs on the street, occasionally come across familiar creatures like dogs and cats, or suddenly find yourself face to face with a monkey or goat that seems to appear out of nowhere. Though it might not fit the typical image of India, squirrels are often seen darting about in leafy parks, and with a bit of luck, you might even spot a peacock. I know that animals in city areas can be a sensitive topic in India, especially when it comes to dogs. Even among my Indian friends, there's been discussion about how to handle free-roaming dogs in cities. While I was making this video in mid-August 2025, news broke that India's Supreme Court had ordered the immediate removal of stray dogs from the Delhi capital region within 8 weeks. The decision sparked debate over both practical and ideological issues, from whether such a move is even feasible to the deeper question of human rights versus animal rights. No outsider seemed truly able to enter this difficult topic. Animals are the object of affection for some people, while for others they are a constant source of fear. There is, of course, the issue of safety and hygiene. Unless animals are properly cared for, not only for the sake of people but for the animals themselves, the living environment can become miserable. Yet when I think of how animals are treated in so-called shelters around the world and recall how happy they look when properly cared for, I cannot help wishing that the best way to coexist with them could be found. Let's conclude this video with a story from another classic. India's long-standing relationship with animals is reflected in its classical literature. A well-known example is the Panchatantra, traditionally attributed to Vishnu Sharman in the 3rd century CE. Through the interactions of animals, the Panchatantra imparts lessons and wisdom about ways of living that remain relevant even in modern society. Some of its stories, such as the tale of the clever rabbit and the lion, are still used for educational purposes, not only in countries influenced by Hindu culture, but around the world. The Panchatantra possesses both timeless universality and distinctive charm, making it engaging even for modern readers from diverse cultural backgrounds. India is immense. Yet even its vast land seems too narrow for the vigorous living beings there, sprung from life itself.